friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week of November 29 to December the 5th. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to take one of these cards. There we go for Taurus, and we'll read that at the end of your reading as your final guidance. Now, let's get started with the tarot and see what messages we have for Taurus. Now, keep in mind that there is a solar eclipse on December 4th. This December 3rd or 4th, depending on where you live in the world. But it will be bringing in a lot of energy to close things out that are no longer serving you and maybe holding back new beginnings. Okay, so let's jump in here for Taurus to see what messages and guiding themes we have for Taurus as they go through their week. Okay, so we start out with the 8 of Pentacles, which is really a time of working really hard to see results. You're working on something you really want to see, and you're becoming a master at whatever work you're doing. Not only are you working hard, but you're starting to see that you're a craftsman. You're a master craftsman. You know how to do this task well, and you're busy. You've achieved a lot, you've worked really hard, and you're seeing results. Now, what is creating an obstacle for Taurus here? The Mother Star. So this card suggests that you are on the right path. This is a yes card in this tarot deck. It's not one of the traditional tarot cards. It's an additional one. And so to see that as an obstacle is interesting, because it's almost like you've been working so hard and you're getting the message that staying on this path only is, I feel, the obstacle for you. Is that it's almost like you put all your energy into one thing. Okay, you've put all your energy into one thing. And then we see the Mother Star card here coming in as the obstacle. Typically this card is saying you're on the right track. And so I'm sort of interpreting it as saying your focus is too narrow. You're only working on one thing. You're becoming a master in this. And I almost feel like you're needing to generalize more. You might be too focused on one thing and thinking to yourself, well, that's the only thing I'm good at. And it's kind of, I'm sort of feeling like maybe not, Taurus. Maybe there's lots of things you're good at, but you're not seeing it because you're so convinced that you're on the right track that you're staying on one road instead of trying a different route. That's sort of what I'm picking up on for you here. And yeah, we see justice is what's on the top of mind for you. The Justice card here is the Libra energy. So it's interesting, Taurus. It's almost like you're trying to balance things out, or that is where you're headed. You're headed towards a place of more balance. Whereas right now, you're focused on one thing. You've got your focus very set on one set of skills that you have. And I feel like you need to bring some balance here because you have more than that skill. You have more than just this one skill that you're working really hard on. 9 of Pentacles is what's driving your reading, which suggests that you've become very comfortable on this one area of your life that you're focused on. And I think that we're seeing that Mother Star card come up as the obstacle because your focus needs to expand. And I feel right now the focus is narrow for Taurus. Taurus is putting all their eggs in one basket, or all their pentacles in one beehive. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're being called to bring balance to this with the Justice card and the 9 of Pentacles saying you can be good at more things. Expand outside of where you're comfortable. And even though comfort can sometimes feel very stable, it can also be very narrow. So I feel like although you've achieved a lot with this scope that you have, this narrow scope to say that these are my skills and this is what I do with them, that you could potentially be doing more if you expanded your view. It's very interesting. Now, in the recent past, we see the Empress, very creative, fertile, abundant, harmonious energy from the Empress, very creative. The Empress always makes me think that you've been using your connection to yourself and to this life to be very creatively expressive. So you're using your abilities and strengths to express something very creative. But I feel like you've almost pigeonholed yourself. You've put yourself in a box here. And the Moon in the future energy. So there is more to this situation, Taurus. It's like you're being guided to step out of your comfort zone. Step out of where you think that's the maximum you can achieve. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like pigeonholed yourself is the right expression, that you've narrowed your own focus. You've narrowed the road of options. And it's like, there are so many options, and I feel like you don't see them because you have a narrowed perspective on what you're able to do creatively. And I feel like that's a self-imposed limit, and you can easily lift that restriction. Now, your inner dialogue is one of the 10 of Cups. So you're feeling very emotionally content with what you've achieved. You've got prosperity. You're feeling the emotional sort of stability, and there's joy, right? Like your inner dialogue, when you think about the path you've chosen, you feel good about it. You feel good about the path you've chosen. And so I feel like you do feel comfortable, 9 of Pentacles. That you're in your comfort zone when it comes to whatever it is you're creating. It makes you feel happy. You feel good about it. But there is a lack of balance here. I feel like you could be doing something else. And because you feel satisfied, you're not stepping out of that comfort zone. You're not. Now, it's interesting because the outer expression of yourself is sort of ready for something new. It's interesting. So we see the 10 of Cups as being your inner dialogue, which is you saying, I'm happy, I have everything I need, I'm content, I'm prosperous, I'm content, I'm good. And then the outer manifestation of you is saying, oh, but there's this other emotional height that we could reach if we stepped outside of our comfort zone. And I feel like you could be moving towards that very slowly and sort of with a lot of trepidation, because you're not sure. You're not sure, but you're moving towards a prospective new emotional feeling with this Knight of Cups. It's almost like a quest. It's almost like you're going to take a soul quest on an emotional level to see, am I really content, or am I just in a comfort zone, right? Or is there more? I feel like you're starting to see there could be more, and that the only thing that needs to shift is your perspective. Your perspective needs to shift. Knight of Swords, yeah, to talk about a perspective shift. The Knight of Swords is the energy of being able to shift mentally and to have sort of this ambitious quality about yourself that can be very strategic and intelligent about how it makes decisions. And the King of Swords is your Aquarius energy, which is very much an energy that can go where it needs to go to achieve its goals, right? This King of Sword energy is one that to me goes very nicely with the reading, because that's almost what you need. You need a perspective shift to show you that just because you're comfortable and just because you're very good at this one thing doesn't mean that's the be all and end all that you're able to do, Taurus. And I feel like there needs to be balance when you're evaluating yourself, because it's almost like you're looking at yourself and saying, well, I'm a one-trick pony. And you're not a one-trick pony. There's so much you can do here. And I feel like it's slowly starting to come to you on on an emotional level and in your mind. It's almost like there's something starting to widen in your perspective. Your perspective is starting to become less narrow, which is interesting, because I wonder where it's going to lead. We see the 10 of Wands as the final outcome here for you, which says that you're actually feeling very overloaded with the demands of this situation. And so it's interesting. Your inner dialogue is, no, I'm good. I'm happy. But really, are you? I don't know. I'm wondering. I'm wondering. I feel like your inner dialogue is saying, I'm content. I'm happy. It's almost like you're trying to convince yourself that this is good enough. And I feel like you don't actually think it is good enough, that there is something pulling at you to say, we should do this. We should try this. Did you think of this? Like, there's ideas percolating for you that I feel like you need to give them at least an audience to see if it resonates for you, because there is an imbalance here. I feel like you've worked really hard to get to where you're at, and I feel like you're telling yourself you're happy, but I feel like you're looking for a new expression of emotion around you here, and that you're trying to achieve it at first by shifting your perspective. But even that is not enough here. You're feeling like you're at the end of something, and I feel like you're trying to convince yourself, no, I'm fine. I'm not at the end of anything. I'm good. I can keep going. And I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Taurus. I feel like you're overwhelmed and overloaded, and that you are needing some self-care and maybe to change your perspective here. Now let's see what's on the bottom of your deck. The bottom of your deck is the Four of Swords, which is a time of needing rest and recovery, so that you can entertain a new idea, so that you can sort of look at things with fresh eyes. You're needing to take this mental break, right? To recover, to rest, and to review, right? Like to review things when you're not as overwhelmed, when you're not as exhausted, right? When you're feeling like things are more in balance, and you're not feeling so much, I don't know, exhaustion. And almost like you're telling yourself one story, but I don't know. I don't buy it. I'm not buying your story, Taurus. I think that you're wanting to reach for new heights, but you're finding that it's challenging. Oh, and look at the other side of the deck is the Tower. Yeah, like I feel like you're going to be experiencing some enlightenment in the form of a change in direction, that you're not going to be putting all your eggs in one basket for long. I feel like you're going to take a risk. This Knight of Cups could be feeling like you're going to take a risk, an emotional one, right? And you're going to propose something new for yourself, and that you know this thing that you're working on right now is not, it's not all it could be. I feel like there's more to what you could be expressing, or how you're expressing it could be much more expansive than it is now. I feel like you've narrowed it. You've turned it into something that's almost got you in a cage. And I feel like we're seeing the Tower here because that structure isn't gonna last. Like this inner dialogue that you keep telling yourself you're satisfied. This is also a 10. So I feel like you've got the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. And so I feel like you're ending and beginning things that are both emotional and inspiring, right? Like you're going to be feeling different about how you create. I think, you know, this could involve some shifting for you in how you express yourself, Taurus. Now, to close your reading, let's see what the final card was. Number 32, movement meditation. I celebrate and honor my physical body through dance and movement. Now, this is a red card, so that tells me it's really about your sense of security, identity, your grounding, your sense of belonging. And when I see the 8 and 9 of Pentacles here, and 2 tens, and the Tower, I just can't help but think that as you are changing, you are going to be celebrating by honoring your body in terms of where you ground. And I feel like this is a message of you to sort of allow things to shift and almost think of it as like a dance partner, right? Like you're co-creating here. And this idea of movement, you need to move, and maybe not physically, but maybe physically, but also I think you need movement mentally. We need some mental movement, which is, I think, why we saw the King of Swords here. We need mental movement. We need to shift our perspective. And you may need to physically shift as well. You know, it's very interesting, but movement is definitely the theme here for you. And to engage all your senses is the other message I'm getting from this card, is that it's not just what you can see and what you feel with your emotions and your mind and what that logic tells you, but it's also about engaging how you sort of identify with yourself. And that 4 of Swords really says to me that you're looking for some recovery from something. And so this movement card really makes me think that you're needing movement, not only in the way of moving your body, but movement in terms of your perceptions. Your creative expression needs some evolution here. There is a lot of movement around you in this reading, and so I feel like the guiding message for you is to not resist it, and to allow this expansion to happen, and to sort of allow the creative expression to change as you change. You know what I mean, Taurus? It's very interesting. I'm going to leave it at that for you. If this has resonated and you would like a personal reading, my email's in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Have a great week.